That was probably the hardest race I've ever had in my life. So, yeah, thank you very much. Nice assistance from whoever bowled everyone over at turn 1. Thank you. But yeah, great job, everybody. Another double podium. Fantastic job.
This is Paddock 43, the podcast, your weekly rundown giving you all things F1 from both on and off the track.
From races, trades, rumours, the lifestyle, and all the things that come with the F1 world.
We are Amy, Elle, and Pat. Let's get into it.
We are back.
After 6 weeks. All
together.
3 of us are back.
Let's all hold hands.
The 3 trios, spread fingers.
We're back.
We are back in the studio, all 3 of us, which is so much fun. I missed Pat.
I missed you
And
too.
I was like, I saw you all the time, Elle.
Yeah, I was going to say, you look at me like you miss me.
She's like, no, not you.
I miss you weekly, I swear.
I think I miss like sitting in different positions as well. I feel like I've been segmented back to my
Your original spot.
Now that Pat's back, Amy's
I
back.
like my seat.
You're stuck in that seat. I actually think I enjoy.
You enjoyed the sprint. I know.
I
can
enjoyed
see
the
it.
sprint race.
Yes.
I did. I normally hate it. I think I now enjoy sprint race weekends.
It was
go.
good.
Finally,
It was good. And
it was.
full disclosure for anyone listening, if we do sound a little bit, as they say on TikTok, delulu.
Delulu.
Elle and myself have been up since 3:30.
3:30 a.m. It is currently 7 p.m. and it has been a hell of a day.
I flew back from Sydney.
And I've been working.
Pat
And I
didn't go to bed till 1.
No, it was 3.
Oh, it was 3. Oh, you went.
You should have stayed up. And
I've had like
watched.
the reverse card, the reverse Uno card, and the jet lag is like, I was so smug, like I didn't get jet lag, and now it's like reversed me, and now I just can't sleep.
It's because you came straight into the podcast studio when you got back.
Literally,
You're like,
and like buzzing. She was buzzing, and now she's
you say bosom?
like buzzing.
Buzzing.
You know, like
Oh.
buzzing. I'm buzzing.
I thought you said bosom. I was
Like
like,
a little British accent over there.
Buzzing.
I
Yeah,
know.
Trying, giving it a go.
we're trying to be buzzing. We're just a bit tired. but
Yeah,
here.
we're all a bit tired.
But
we
we're
might
here.
get a bit rogue. but
we're
that's
here and we're
fine.
happy because
Ooh.
And we have a lot to get into, so before we get into the race, I think we should touch on a little bit of news with Andretti. What do you guys? Because you guys briefly spoke about it last week. from
No,
what I remember, kind of.
We discussed Jessica Hawkins.
Oh,
yes,
and her obviously testing the first first F1 car
Yeah.
in an Aston.
Which they actually did some nice coverage of that.
Yeah, really great.
There was a lot of
weekend.
coverage of that.
So they've really upped the ante after all that negative feedback from the online community. I'm with
What
Lewis.
were they saying?
Oh, it's not even worth addressing.
I
But
haven't seen it. but-
sexism and anyway,
Shock horror.
not even worth giving them airtime.
Yep.
But
Because Jess Hawkins is a
A
queen.
legend.
Oh my god! When I
She's
saw the
amazing.
photo of her with the helmet on her and her eyes, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like when there's a woman behind an F1 car.
it looks good.
Looks good.
so anyone that is wondering, 11th team on the grid,
Yeah.
possibility could happen.
Yeah.
And I agree with Lewis in his comments here.
What did Lewis say?
So Lewis said it's an opportunity for more jobs.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's 2 more jobs in a very elite community, and also 2 more opportunities for females.
I was
agree with
thinking if they should just put in 2 female drivers.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like you can't just add them
I know.
in.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I know, you
it's like
can't. But
adding
imagine if
Nick
they just
DeVries
came in
back
and
in.
were
Like, I'm
like,
not saying he's female, but like he's obviously not good. Like you can't
Yeah.
just throw him in
you're
the
saying
mix.
girls are not good.
No, but you know
As
what
in
I'm
you've
saying.
got to earn your stripes.
Yeah. No, of course. They
Yeah.
have to earn it. But yeah, imagine if they did earn it and they deserved to be on
Yeah.
the grid
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they just had a female driving
Jess.
team. Yeah.
Throw
Jess
Jess
and
in.
go.
I feel like there was so much coverage about this weekend, and I'm very on the fence about it. Like initially when I heard it, I was a bit frustrated because I was like, oh, I don't know, like this new FIA president, is it just like another way to, I mean, everything is about money, but I'm like, oh, it's just another way to about money. But then at the same time, initially I thought, is it going to make it, the safety police over here, is it going to make it a lot more unsafe on the grid?
Well, yeah, if you've got another
Yeah.
2 cars coming in, flying into turn 1,
It's a lot.
Well,
Yeah.
More chance for collision.
Yeah, well, if
Yeah.
they've been competing in Qatar together.
Yeah. But then
100%.
yeah. But then it was interesting because a lot of people were interviewed across the weekend, and from what I heard, all the drivers were like super pro. But yeah, it was interesting because everyone that was, a lot of team principals and different people within various teams were interviewed this weekend. And yeah, so the drivers seemed like all of them were like pro, absolutely, let's have an 11th team, why not? Whilst then all the team principals and everyone within the teams was saying no because it's like, sorry.
But on that also, it'd be so bad if a driver came out and said no to it, knowing that it could be 2 opportunities for females. It would look with current drivers. Former drivers, they could say no, but I think current drivers, PR, you couldn't.
But I think
Unless
as
you had
much,
a good argument.
yeah, but I think as much as we'd love it to be, like it's circling back to what we said 2 seconds ago about how someone has to earn their stripes, as in like I get what you mean, but I don't know. It's like, I think, I can't remember who was speaking, but there was someone from Williams and he was saying, a couple of years ago, my job was redundant and I had nothing to do. And now, like, it's fantastic. We've kind of recovered and we're coming back into it. But there's so much investment and majority of the teams are operating at a loss. And then it's like a big chunk of the
Are you
money.
just talking about Williams
Yeah.
operating at a loss? Sorry.
Yeah.
Just Williams.
Why is Williams operating at a loss?
Well,
Top of the deconstructors.
yes.
Logie Bear.
That. Logie Bear.
Logie
Well,
Bear.
yeah, actually, But, and even they were saying, like, it's such a massive competition. Like, they're all competing against each other to get sponsors. And then if you throw in, like, another team into the mix, it's just, like, even more competitive. So, I don't know. I think it's interesting seeing both sides.
Well, it'll dilute the money where like whatever happens.
Yeah.
Like if there's 1 or 2 teams, because there could be 12 teams. Like
Well,
imagine if
but
because there are 12 spots.
Well, Qatar,
Yeah.
Imagine if there were
Qatar
12
built
teams.
50 garages in their upgrade. So we were like,
50
are there going to be like
people.
50 teams?
Okay.
Lawrence,
One
It's like dodging
garage
cars.
for each driver.
yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
Well, Lawrence Stroll, he was like, if it ain't broke, you don't need to fix it.
Yeah.
He's
I
like,
don't
it's working
understand
right
why he
now,
did
don't
that.
fix it. I think there is room for an 11th team. I think we have enough DNFs these days that we could
my
cater
God.
to it.
Yeah. But it would be like, it would be a great opportunity to get more talent in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, because it has been approved by the FIA, but who knows what F1 will do? They might just be like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, sorry,
I think it'll
don't want another
happen, though.
team.
I think it'll happen though.
Because just with there are already 10 existing teams, the impact on the earnings of all of them,
Yeah.
what would happen?
They earn enough.
then-
I think
but
they're
they
gonna
earn-
be
they earn
okay.
enough
I think
money.
This is, I mean, like, come on, like
Yeah.
they.
But then, like Karoom was
stuck into
saying
this.
in an interview that hypothetically, if the money were to be split across 11 teams, it works out to be like $5 million is the chunk that would be lost, which like sounds like a lot of money. But
What,
then,
$5 million across the whole?
like
Or
each
each
team
team
would lose
lose
about
$5
$5
million.
million.
So then that's a lot of jobs within those teams to then give that team
Yeah, but then they get
jobs.
more. Yeah, it just opens up more jobs. There'd be plenty of people fighting for those positions. Very
Yeah.
coveted positions. Like, I feel like $5 million per team is not that bad.
Pocket change, yeah.
Lawrence
Like,
Stroll
just get rid
sold
of-
like a portion of Aston Martin last year to a Chinese business, I think it was, and it was something like 115 million euros. Like that's and that's nothing. That's that's pocket change in their business.
Yeah.
So
Well,
We'll
watch
I
your
mean,
space,
they can
I
hire
think.
someone like Logan, and he crashes his car that many times that he's already
Yeah.
like $3.6 million worth of damages.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think he's at almost like over. He'd be over 4 million now. Well and truly,
no, because he
he
didn't,
didn't
crash,
crash
this weekend.
yeah.
still be damages.
Oh no, but qualifying he
In qualifying, crashed,
he did
didn't
crash in
What's going on?
qualifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, he did.
Yeah.
Him and Ocon and
Yes.
yes, that's correct.
Which qualifying? Sprint qualifying or no? I don't know.
Normal qualifying.
Normal
Yeah.
qualifying.
Remember.
Now that you're in top of the sprint, we have to get you across like how good it is.
Oh, it was
I
great.
I only liked it because Oscar was on pole.
It was amazing.
The only reason you'll like
the
the
only
sprint.
reason I was like, yes, that was the only reason I liked it.
Well, speaking about jumping back to what we were talking about before, like, you know, money within the F1 teams and Lawrence Stroll. You know, there's obviously been the rumbles that Lance Stroll might be retiring, and we can get into some, you know, I know Amy's got some opinions on that.
Apparently as
Dirty
well,
details.
there's pressure from Lance's mum to consider stepping away from Formula
Well,
1.
anyway, maybe that's why then Lawrence Stroll is considering selling the business for just a sweet fee of, I think it's like 800 million pounds or something like that to a Saudi investor, which is nuts. So maybe the whole family wants to step away. Maybe it's too much pressure.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough.
But we have enough money. We don't need to be in Formula 1 anymore.
I feel like it'd just be at that point emotional. Like just watching them sit there. I've been following Oscar's mum's tweets across the weekend. She's like, I can't breathe. And I'm like, I can't breathe either.
Yeah.
And this is your son. And then she's like, I'm cancelling my 7 a.m. Pilates class. And I was like, you know what? So am I. But this isn't my son. I'm cancelling
So
it.
am I.
So I got up at 3:30 to watch him instead.
Can I just
So
say
good.
that news about the rumblings of Lawrence potentially selling Aston? Literally, I mean, we'll get into what happened this weekend, but it makes sense.
I've also seen other things that are saying that an insider is saying that it's not up for sale and it's not being considered.
Yeah. I think there was like that. I did say that the rumours were shut down in the paddock overnight.
Yeah,
But hey, it's F1. Rumours get shut down all the time. and then things come
Exactly.
out.
Yeah.
Remember when Danny wasn't going and he was staying in Red Bull?
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Not Red Bull, McLaren.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing. Same thing happened at Red Bull,
It's
basically.
all twisting up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but Lance's dummy sphere.
Yeah.
So, didn't you see it?
No, I just watched your thing on it that you put up on
I
TikTok.
was like, I'm so angry. Because what he
I
did, he
hate
went
you.
went back into the pit after not getting out of Q1. He proceeded to throw his steering wheel. Like one of the mechanics
Add that to
came
the
over.
deconstructors.
I know. Exactly.
How much is a steering wheel?
They're over I think £100,000.
Oh, for
Which is for a steering wheel. And so the mechanic came over to try and grab it off him. And he kind of just ignored him, threw it over, hit the car and bounced off. And I was like, well, there's damage to your car. There's damage to the steering wheel.
That's insane.
He then proceeds to get out of the car. And then I think his trainer was saying you have to go out the front to get weighed and stuff. And he just kind of stormed out the back. Him and his trainer kind of walk off together and you sort of see his body just
lunge.
lunge forward like he's pushing him. And then all these people being like, oh, maybe you're just throwing his gloves. I was like, you don't throw gloves like that.
Yeah, you're like, ugh.
What was causing this hissy fit?
That man,
description next to me.
because he got eliminated in Q1.
Oh, and it was
Yeah.
literally because of that.
Yeah.
But then there's rumors did he punch his trainer? Did he hit him? Yeah.
Ooh.
Ugh,
It's very messy.
It's not good.
Yeah, because I don't care, kind of what I sort of said in this video. I was like, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who your family is.
You always have to
You
be nice.
show respect to the people
Yeah.
around you and the people that are there trying to build you up and help you perform.
Agreed.
And then he does that and it's grow up.
Yeah. Such
I
a
was like,
brat.
that is exactly. I was
bratty behavior.
like, the little brat.
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 You're a brat.
No, I just thought it was so inappropriate.
Yeah, it was
there are so many ways to deal with that, and that is not the way to deal with
No.
it.
Well, that just makes me think circling back to the rumblings of potential sale of Aston Martin. It kind of reminds me of, when someone's about to leave a job and they just don't care anymore and they just behave a certain way.
Yeah, that's true.
what it made me think of.
Well,
Way up
a little final bit of good news, and it was great to see Liam Lawson back in Qatar this week, even though it wasn't his best performance since he's been driving, which was
certainly was
a
not.
shame. But I loved that he got a random FaceTime call.
From Danny.
Yeah, and he didn't have his number saved or anything like that, so we had no
Why
idea.
did he not have his number
Yeah.
saved?
Maybe they've never communicated.
Yeah, or they've just
Yeah,
spoken
true.
through
Just because they're
certain
in similar
platforms.
areas doesn't mean they actually I don't have anyone's number at work except a couple of people.
Yeah.
It is work at the end of the day.
But it would be sort of like us not having each other's numbers. You know?
Yeah, but that.
But I wonder
don't
if
know.
because they're in a team, they're constantly together in that team environment
Yeah.
that they've never had.
And other people probably speak to other people on behalf of them.
Yeah.
But that was,
That's true.
I thought it was really nice him saying he opens up his phone and it's just Daniel Ricciardo smiling at him being like, can you race for me this weekend?
Yeah.
I need another week. I'm going to see you in Austin.
That's so
like,
good. I was like, I told everyone that he
Yeah.
wasn't going to be back for Qatar.
You were right.
You were right. And it was also a great way for Danny to pass the torch for another week.
Yeah, that was
I
very
was like,
sweet.
that's a nice little
Yeah.
memento.
Shame his last weekend though was not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as all the drivers said, hardest race of the season. Some said hardest race they've ever done.
Yeah, I think
It
they
was-
all did.
They all looked like they had been in a sauna for
It
about
was
5
equivalent to
hours.
50 degrees.
As I kind of mentioned before, it was we all know it was a sprint weekend, and I kind of like them now. I'm convinced.
Yeah, you get convinced easily.
Yeah.
Once you're in, you're sucked in.
I have a rubber arm.
No, well, you didn't for a while. I was
didn't.
trying to get
But
you
what
into
did you
it.
say as well? Why did you like it so much?
Yeah.
I mean, there was one reason why I liked it, but I'll
Yeah.
get into that. But one thing I found not interesting, but I kind of enjoyed because I've had his back for so long, was Logan was faster than Alex by 300ths of a second in Q1. And I was like, oh, it's nice to see him at the same pace
Yeah.
as Alex. And I was like,
Yeah,
Good job.
And especially because Alex did
Good
really
boy.
well this weekend.
Elle is looking at me like
Good
I'm,
boy.
like I'm an idiot. She finds it hilarious, but no, my
Sprint
favorite.
shootout Q1.
Yeah, that's my thing. No, my favorite thing was Oscar on pole.
Yes.
I think that was all Aussies. I mean, both of you've got orange on.
Yeah, I'm
got
repping
the 81 on.
today.
I've got my 81 at home and
Homemade
merch
81.
again. If any listeners out there would like to get me some proper Oscar merch.
If anyone wants to buy this top, so we don't have to look at it anymore.
We should auction it.
Oh my God, does anyone want to buy my top? That's a great idea. It'll help fund us eating.
At Tequila Taco Fund.
help fund the podcast.
Help on the podcast.
Someone
you can
help.
either buy this top or you can buy me another Oscar merch top.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Tom.
Okie dokie.
No, not by me.
Anyway,
Anyway.
but
Yes.
there was a McLaren front row lockout.
Yeah.
Oscar
Yes.
and Lando, which was the first time since Brazil in 2012.
Mm.
Which is
Yeah. Oscar flew that first corner.
Oh,
in the sprint.
yeah.
oh my
Just
god, this man,
Straight for it.
boy.
Looks like a boy.
Yeah.
yeah. There's a photo of him up in the studio.
Mm.
Looks like a little baby.
Yeah, a little bit.
These little chubby cheeks. And you just want to go.
Well, it was sad to see Liam Lawson out on the first lap as well. Yeah.
I was
First sprint he's ever done as well.
That was devastating.
And-
He just beached. It was the
I mean, he
beach
was
whale.
starting 14th off the grid, so he probably wasn't going to climb anywhere. But
I was laughing so much though. Like the Sky News commentators, one of them was like, "How's he done it? Like, has he clipped someone?" And then they did the replay, and Kroom's like,
and
"He's just done it by himself."
he was
just done it by
no
himself.
one was near him, and he just was
Yeah.
it oversteering?
like he
It was
sneezed
oversteering.
or
He just-
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
he just
I
sort of
wonder-
went out.
I kind of wonder what would happen if you sneezed. Oh my god, imagine sneezing
Oh.
and boogers going all over
Oh,
the
well, we need to
visor.
get into that. I want to know what happens
So-
when you vomit.
No, so can I just
But
say,
we'll get
side
into that
note,
one.
I always think it's really dangerous when you sneeze when you drive.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah, it is.
right?
Yeah.
I always get so nervous because
you
I'm
have to
like,
close your eyes.
what do they do? It's like you sneeze and you've gone through a
Because
whole
then you
corner.
can't do the whole thing where you like stop the sneeze.
Yeah, or does
'Cause
they have something in
obviously-
the helmet to like?
Maybe they have. I'm like, yeah, they have things on their noses.
Like-
like this.
George was trying to get cool air in at one point, and he was like lifting his palms up.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, and he's driving with
Yeah.
like his wrists and palms, and I was like, that is not safe.
Yeah,
That
it's
just shows
casual
Please
300
abort
k's an hour.
mission.
And I was like, oh my
Literally.
god.
It is
Please
not
don't do
safe.
that.
No.
But no, the sprint was excellent.
It was epic. I think it was epic.
We had a
I had
few
a great-
safety cars that happened. One of them was from the Nico Chico Oko. There's a cough. Nico Chico Oko. No,
No,
Nico
sh-
Checo and Ocon.
And hot.
They had quite the crash, quite the smash
Yeah.
up.
They did.
And it allowed Max to get world championship
Ugh.
in that time, which was pretty amazing. And it was just after lap 11 when Oscar and George were wheel to wheel, and Oscar then scraped in front, and there was just so much going on. And I was like, oh my God, like, what is happening? And then it's a safety car, and then Nicole Piastri is like,
Nicole Piastri.
yeah.
Oh,
Oscar's
Yeah,
mum.
Oscar's
Sorry,
mum.
we're
Yeah.
on first name
Yeah.
basis. We're not just like Oscar's
You're
mum
like, I'm
anymore.
confused.
Nicole.
Um,
my friend Nicole.
that one was not sleeping.
Hit her up.
You know, she was like, safety car for 8 more laps, please. Like, she was full going, oh, I could go on for sprint
Hold
for
on,
ages.
yeah.
It's just exciting.
I found it, I quite enjoyed seeing everyone on the soft tires kind of fall
Oh.
back.
Yeah.
yeah. They
It was just such a silly
wrecked
choice.
those tires.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
front left got absolutely destroyed.
Destroyed.
They
And-
hadn't seen
yeah.
anything like that in a while.
Yeah. Well, that
Yeah.
damn chicane looked
Mm.
like a razor. I showed a photo of it. I was like, oh my God. It was like,
Yeah.
Well, even when like Max's tires, they said was the worst. But even when he was behind a safety car and he's just won world championship, and he was still complaining that he wasn't coming
Yeah.
first. He's just got like such this like winner's mindset,
Yeah.
and he was like, "What are you doing to me?" Blah blah blah, and they're like, "You've just like won."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they just calm
you know,
down a little
give
bit.
it for a second, which was a lot. And
Yeah.
then, I mean,
Typical. Verstappen.
I did think this was funny. I don't know if anyone else put this together. So Max won his championship on a Saturday, and the last person to do that was his girlfriend's dad to win his third championship on a Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, actually, yeah, I did say that.
yeah,
Oh, that's so interesting.
yeah. I was like, just living up.
Hi, hi, daddy and
Yeah, exactly. Daddy-in-law.
Oh,
Daddy issues.
that's God. I
daddy-in-law.
could say a bit about that.
Yeah.
23 deleted lap times.
Yeah. Oh my
23.
gosh. I was like, this is Austria 2.0.
Everyone, 5-second time penalty.
Yeah, well, that's
I mean, they
the
were
track,
only
isn't it?
given, what was it? Was it the sprint race where they were given, no, that was qualifying. The 10-minute like familiarization
Yeah.
laps
Yeah.
because they changed those
Which-
corners,
yeah.
12
Yeah.
and 13.
Which also was kind of the whole thing with sprint races is obviously you just have sprint weekends is you have one practice. And we'll get into it, but I just think there were too many changes made. Like there was too much happening for it to be a sprint weekend. Like I don't think the drivers were familiar enough with the track and the changes for it to be a sprint.
Yeah, and it was clearly impacting the drivers quite a bit. Like you had Lando Norris during his qualifying sessions, and I think, maybe it was even the sprint shootout. They had him, they showed it on the broadcast, him talking to himself, just being like, I'm so shit.
Oh
I'm
my
the worst.
gosh.
And you just wanted to give the poor guy a hug because you just
Yeah.
knew that like
Devastated.
you're spiraling downwards. And then it doesn't help that then your teammate wins and you've never won before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the only other person that was won was Daniel Ricciardo in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
What was it in the post race? Was it the post
Yeah,
race?
well, they were
where he
asking
was
him
like,
about it.
he was like, yeah, it was lack of talent. I was like, oh my God.
baby.
Yeah, he's
no.
like, I'm so shit, I'm
No.
so bad. Like, and he was like, I make lots of mistakes. Oscar doesn't. Like, I'm so shit. And I was like,
But also, like, that
knew
mentality is
that
not
was
going to get you
coming.
no,
anywhere.
it doesn't help them. Like, Oscar wins. Lando is trying to praise him, but he's still feeling crap in the sprint. And then the journalists are coming up to Lando being like, does that hurt?
Oh.
That you
He's
haven't
like,
won,
yeah,
but Oscar
obviously it
has?
hurts.
But do you know
Yeah,
who
imagine getting asked that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
but this is where it like people's mindset and how people are. It separates the Verstappen
a champion from a
and the Piastris that have that just get it done, just win, don't let any emotion or negativity like cloud anything. You just like it happens, you deal with it, you learn from it, you move on. And
I get that and I like that, but I also do like how honest
Oh,
and
for
raw
sure.
that Lando
Absolutely.
was in that moment, because I also do think that shows like a true
well, he's human.
human
Yeah.
aspect.
But
that-
as well,
human.
like coming from an athlete side of it, the more you actually, it's kind of like manifestation. The more you speak it, you're just going
Yeah.
to keep believing it. So
Yeah.
if he was telling himself he was shit all weekend, so yeah, he's going to be shit.
Yeah.
Because he never
Well,
had any kind of.
I mean,
Lando, my
picked
dear.
it, he picked it back
he was.
up.
Yeah,
but
well, yeah.
in that
you know,
moment during the sprint on the Saturday and the Friday, he was
Yeah.
not feeling himself.
Yeah.
Say, Lando, my dear, you need to sit in front of the camera, in front of the mirror, and do some words of affirmation.
I love myself.
I am worthy.
He does. He does.
He
And
was
Oscar's-
worthy in the end.
Yeah, he was worthy.
He did do very well. He did.
Did
Yes.
you guys think that Max's championship eclipsed Oscar's win in the sprint?
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Collective, yes. So I didn't think it did.
I think it
I
did.
did.
Explain. Elaborate.
I just think, I mean, obviously it's a huge deal, and they made a huge deal about it. But Piastri, he's a rookie, and he came first in a sprint.
I just felt like they could have done a little bit more.
So I thought they did heaps.
Oh, they didn't.
How
they
far
do?
back did you watch the broadcast? Or did you just turn it off?
I don't even know how far back I was.
So there was a lot of chatter online being like, it's eclipsed. But when you look at all the post-race interviews and everything afterwards, everyone just says, yeah, well done, Max. But Oscar, well done. Like everyone's like words were so much higher with encouragement and the way that everyone was speaking. And they just said the same thing about Max over and over again. Like it was literally the 2 lines. Oh, he's won on a Saturday, his 3rd one. There's not many people who've done that. And he's now with these people. And that was it.
No,
but then
I saw
Oscar, they
heaps of
kept,
hype from that.
they
Yeah, I
kept
saw
talking about
a-
Oscar's journey and all of that
And
sort of stuff.
also, I think maybe it does feel that way as well because, and look, rightfully so, it's like a massive achievement. All weekend, it was like interviews with Christian Horner, like interviews with the Red Bull team, like all their achievements, how far they've come, because they're obviously preempting that he's going to win his 3rd championship, and rightfully so. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it did kind of overshadow a little bit.
Maybe I'm
I
also
mean,
deep in Oscar land.
yeah, they're both
online.
like they're both amazing achievements to celebrate. You can have the 2 at the same time.
Yeah, well, they're very different achievements as well.
And like, he's a rookie. He's just a baby.
Like I kind of feel like they just sort of like gave him his trophy and were like, yeah.
That's what they
Carry
always do
on.
with the sprint. Though, when
Bye-bye.
they give them the trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
like,
why, like,
it
when
just on-
remember when he got Oscar got podium in the sprint like races ago, and he was like, "Is this even a trophy?"
Yeah.
Like, I was waiting for him to say that
True.
again, being like, "This one's a trophy because he won."
Mm.
Also, if anyone hasn't caught up, what we're talking about, Oscar won, which
the sprint.
the sprint, which is amazing. I feel like
we're assuming that you know.
Assuming that
You're
you know by
listening
this
to
point,
Oscar
yeah.
won the sprint.
I just thought they could have done a little bit more. They had that huge thing for Max, obviously, because he won the world championship. But like, Oscar didn't even get to pull up and be like number 1. You know how did like the 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, he did.
Didn't
Did
he?
they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought no, but because Max's car just went straight up onto the thing.
Max has went onto the thing, but they have one there for Oscar.
Oh
1, 2,
yeah,
3.
but it was like 1, 2, 3. Then Max
Yeah.
has got a whole body
Yeah.
set up for him.
yeah, but world championship versus winning a sprint, like all things considered, I feel like it was
Yeah.
pretty damn good.
Oh, yes, but I
I'm
don't
just
know.
in Oscar's camp
Yeah.
for this one.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I'm deep in Oscar territory at the moment.
I
That's
just
all
yeah,
I'm
they could
following.
have said more over the broadcast. I think.
What were your favourite moments and worst moments in the sprint?
I just really laughed so hard at that comment about Lawson. Oh, he's done it on his own. As in, I felt sorry for him,
Was
but
that your favourite or worst moment?
yeah, it provided entertainment. And I just love how it was just a bit chaotic.
Mm.
Like the Checo crash. I was like, 3 cars in one go.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my
Yeah.
Yeah.
obviously one of my favourite moments was seeing Oscar win.
Of course.
Yeah.
But like funniest moments was seeing Checo get out of his car crash and his hands are on his hips
Yeah.
and he's like,
Oh my god,
Yeah.
he looked like he'd landed on the moon.
Yeah. It's like,
you look like a moon lady.
yeah.
There's all this dust
Checo.
around them and they're
Yeah.
on the gravel and he's kind of looking at like, what do we do here?
At the same time, I knew that he was just like, fuck you, Ocon.
Yeah.
Oh, he would have, yeah, after all like everything that's been going on with Checo and all the
Yeah.
talks and stuff.
And like Lewis is hot on his tails for that 2nd spot now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's why, I mean, Max essentially got the championship as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Checo did
That's
crash.
it's a shame that that's how he won the championship. Like I think it would have felt more of a obviously it's an incredible moment, but it would have felt a bit more whoa if it was like
Like an Abu Dhabi.
yeah yeah or as in like
Yeah,
he just
like
finished
end of
he won
season.
the race and that's it kind of
Yeah,
thing rather
yeah.
than like you won
Did they have
because
fireworks for him?
I don't know.
I think
How
they
do
had
they normally
fireworks,
have
like-
fireworks?
I think they did.
I don't know. It
Those
didn't say anything.
fireworks.
You know what?
Mm.
It was so bloody hot. They may have not had
Nah,
fireworks.
I think no. They had fireworks for like half an hour after the race.
Oh,
Just kept
did they?
going and going and going and going. Yeah, yeah.
a dog's nightmare,
Yeah.
literally.
Oh, but
Yeah.
also, I don't know why I just thought of this. I'm just thinking of the fireworks. I feel like they could have the setup of that track so much better.
Oh, I have so much
I
to
saw
say
there
about
was
Qatar.
Race attendance was only 100,000,
I have a lot to say about
and
Qatar.
there was just like dead spots everywhere.
Thinking about Qatar as a whole, as a track. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, because just watching the broadcast, it was just the track and the cars, and I was like, you could have a grandstand there,
Literally.
you could have something there, you could have something here, and they didn't have anything.
I
Well, I
had the
think that
exact
was
same thought.
supposed to be part of their infrastructure changes that they allowed 40,000 new spectators in. It was only 40,000, but then I think that was seated. So, and I think they were supposed to build out these areas
And
for
they didn't.
standing GA.
They only had like, they didn't have many areas. There
Yeah.
could have been so many more.
So I feel like, let's just, a little slight tangent, but I think it's important that we do talk about this. But the track, I had mixed feelings, but I had like not a nice feeling. I don't know why, like a bit of a feeling about the track. I don't know. Part of me thought it looked kind of cool at night. You know, it sort of looked like almost like a go-kart track, but it, like, they've invested so much money in the paddock, and the paddock looks incredible. And yeah, rightfully so, the paddock should look incredible. But I did not see anything for like the normal grandstands.
Yeah.
No.
And I think especially for attendees, it's like it needs to be accessible. I mean, even though Las Vegas, $500 for GA. But, you know, when you think about Melbourne, I mean, obviously tickets are always expensive wherever you go, but Melbourne and so many of the races, they do such an incredible job for the fans that want to be there.
Huge fanfare.
Yeah. And I was like, I saw nothing. It
there
was
was
just
no-
like dirt everywhere.
There was no fan attraction to
Yeah.
go there.
No.
No,
It
which
was
is-
just purely if you wanted to sit and watch the race. I mean, obviously everyone wants to do that, but like, yeah, you look at it, like the Oz GP.
There's
you can
so
walk
much
around the
to
whole
do.
track. There's so much to do.
Yep.
You go to like Silverstone, you go to
Literally. Well, there's-
the Dutch
I mean,
Do
Grand
you
Prix.
think though that's like an international audience not coming into Qatar themselves? Like
But
I know
it's
there's
such a
sections where you
central-
can drink and like obviously things went. Did they go well for the World Cup? I can't even remember now. But like also they had that,
There's
you
a
know,
lot of
Qatar
controversy as
themselves
well.
had that drama last year in the airport for women. So I know a lot of women have not been going as much just because they're nervous. So I do wonder if that's like a factor.
But then you think like, I mean,
But then why have it there?
yeah. And also,
Because it was already on the schedule, but I agree.
but also like,
it's been moved back to the end of next year.
yeah, but also if we're comparing it to like another race in the Middle East, for example, like Qatar, I've been to Qatar. I would happily go to Qatar. Whilst, for example, somewhere like Saudi Arabia, where there is a lot of issues, and like a lot of women wouldn't feel safe going to Saudi Arabia. And you think Saudi Arabia do put on like a amazing show. Like the Jeddah, they do like quite a big fanfare. I mean, from memory last year, I feel like
Yeah.
there was a lot going on in Jeddah in comparison to, I don't know. I had like a not great feeling about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it was kind of a.
And yeah, that there was that.
It looks like a cool track. So yeah, it kind of looks like
Like a go-kart.
kart. You're in the moon,
Yeah.
the lights, and like the resurfacing of the track was
Yeah.
so smooth. But then that was it.
And then, do you know, we'll get into the race, but I feel like once the race finished, I was like, yep, it's just confirmed that not nice feeling I had about Qatar.
Yeah. Well.
As in about the track.
It's a shame when you don't have that fanfare.
And
As much as the paddock looked good, glitz and glamour, when they had the aerial shots, it did look very empty compared to
Yeah.
like just other tracks, which I did think was a bit missing.
I'd love to like, I don't know, talk to someone that was there.
Yeah.
Be like, how'd you find it?
Mm.
What was it like?
So much to
Was it dead?
discuss.
I don't know, but okay, let's get into the race.
Yeah.
Too much just about the track.
Yeah.
but Carlos didn't start due to
Oh,
a fuel
God.
leak, wasn't it? Fuel leak.
Yeah, something was going wrong with his.
I'm almost
field.
happier that he didn't start than if he were to start
Yeah.
and just get a DNF.
Yeah, that's very true. And then Perez started from the pits. Hulkenberg started
Yeah.
from the wrong spot.
Well, and then before
I
all
was
that,
like, oh my god.
before all that happened, we had the mandatory tyre laps as well put in
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, the three
Yes.
stop.
Yep, had to. A tyre couldn't see more than 18 laps.
Which was also another thing that bothered me about, like,
I liked it.
I didn't like it.
yeah, I didn't like it
I
either.
liked it.
I
thought
think
it
it made
created
it
a bit of a interesting
Oh
playing
my god,
field.
I thought I made it too predictable.
Yeah, and I just felt
Do you
like there was
reckon?
there was so many little, like,
but some
beige
of
flags,
them,
you know?
some of their tyres were already like 8 laps old, and they, had to use them on the mediums and then move to the hards. Like some of these tyres were already gone.
Yeah, but it was just, I found it really interesting just watching the timesheet, and you looked at the tyres and you're kind of like, okay, that person's there. They're pitting now, that person's going to go up then. And you can kind of like guess
Yeah, what
where
was
they're
what was
going to
gonna
be.
I
happen.
thought it was interesting.
I was
Yeah.
like,
I
oh, made it
loved
too
it.
predictable.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
thought it was an interesting. track.
Agreed. And I don't think I know that at the end of the race.
No one ever agrees with me.
I agree with you about Logan.
I'm getting there.
I think in a post race interview, Charles Leclerc was saying how he wasn't a fan of the tyres situation in the race.
I don't think any of them were.
Yeah.
I mean, Lando even said if we've got to do this tyre strategy, then let's floor these tyres and ruin them and not manage them.
Well, yeah.
Fair enough.
Because that's the thing. They didn't actually have to have a tyre strategy, really. Because it was like, okay,
Yeah, they just
you
had to
have to
time it
stop
right.
3 times.
Yeah.
I mean, Max was always the last one
And
to
then that was
change his
it.
tyres.
Yeah.
It was like,
I'm sorry. You go.
no, you go.
No, you go.
Oh, the fight of who goes first.
You go. No, mine wasn't. Mine was irrelevant.
I can't remember.
I was just going to say, I think McLaren had their fastest
Oh,
pit
yeah.
stop.
1.8.
1.8. Yeah.
Huge.
Well
That is
done,
so
McLaren.
There was
fast.
Red Bull during practice as well the day before were getting 1.8. That's just like what they were practicing.
Especially in that heat.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That's it.
Heat did good things for
So
him.
pretty impressive that
Yeah.
McLaren got in there as well for Lando.
Yeah.
Mm.
Very exciting. I mean, Lando, he was coming back in
Yeah.
the race.
He did.
I
He
mean,
did, but,
anyone that said I was cooked, by the way, not guessing, but with my predictions last week, there were a few comments.
My predictions
I was not
almost
far
came true.
Well,
Yeah.
I was Max, Oscar, and George. George
yeah,
came
nearly.
4th.
Well,
Yeah.
I said papaya sandwich. I did say Max wouldn't win. I didn't specify if that was going to be the sprint or the race, by the way. And there was
Okay,
a papaya
she's
sandwich.
manipulating that.
Yeah, no,
She's
no
trying to
one
make it
asked.
work in her favor.
Yeah, but everyone was like, "Are you on something?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not on anything. It's just what I believe."
Sure.
Well, I'm just frustrated because obviously what happened with Lewis
Mhm.
and just Mercedes as a whole, it's such a It's so disappointing because they would have done so well this weekend.
I thought they were gonna. Did we think? Yeah. Well, yeah. I thought George was gonna
Yeah.
be on the podium.
Yeah.
It did look like I think that's what everyone thought. And then
They had a lot of
Lewis
pace.
just stuffed it up.
For those of you that don't
Just
know, lap 1,
Turn one.
Turn one.
It all happened.
Lewis,
Grim.
I feel like it was like the pressure got to him and he short circuited.
I'm like, can
Yeah.
he drive in traffic?
Yeah.
It's like he wanted to overtake George and didn't realize how much room he actually had in his left,
Yeah.
and he decided to go close in on George, and then
clipped him and
clipped
he was
then-
out.
and spun out.
Yeah.
For Lewis to do that, it's like you kind of expect that from a rookie. Like you
Well,
don't really expect it from
Yeah.
I thought
a world champion that's driven
Yeah.
how many
The
times.
heat made him delulu.
Delulu. I thought the same thing, and I agree. But I was listening to an interview, and they were saying Lewis has been racing for 15 years, and he has not finished lap 1 only 6 times across 15 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's not that bad. One
Everything's
time,
okay.
hopefully he doesn't do one again. But
In the grand scheme of things.
yeah, in the grand scheme of things. But I was so disappointed. And sometimes I feel like I am the Nico curse because I was like, oh, Hamilton's my guy for the rest of the year. And then
Did
this
you see
happens.
Nico's photo?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did
There
have
was
a
like the tiny
selfie.
little like Mercedes in the background. I was like, oh my god, he's coming
Yeah.
for them.
Well, he did take the selfie next to Max's car as well. And that was
so
fine.
I love the fact he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I know.
He would have
Well,
been
he's-
like, I'm going to give everyone what they want.
But he said he stopped for a while because he was worried that it was a curse. So he stopped and he was like scared that people.
We're coming for him.
Yeah.
oh my god!
It's
Imagine,
all your fault.
imagine if in Austin something
Oh.
happens to Max.
Oh.
I mean,
Oh,
enough.
God.
Maybe Perez just took the brunt of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, true.
But
I-
back to Lewis, like clipping that,
Mm,
how he cracked it obviously when he got out of his car and
he did.
was flipping it and he thought it was George's fault. But like
But-
Amy and I were saying, like once he apologized, like how's that for maturity? Like
Oh,
he
Well, you
owned
kind
that.
of
He
expect
owns
it
it.
at that age.
and
owns it.
yeah, but just so well owned as well.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know,
he
you
tweeted
don't see
straight
that often.
away, and he's
Yeah.
good.
No. He is good. He's also so well like media trained.
Yeah, he is.
He is,
Like,
but
he- yeah.
he is,
Yeah.
but that takes a lot in you to actually even do that after you've publicly just been like, what the fuck? Like I've been pushed out by my own teammate. Like you're accusing your teammate and then in a public forum to millions
Yeah.
of people.
Yeah.
And then he comes out being like, actually, I've watched it. Sorry, shouldn't have cracked it. That's my fault. George had nowhere to go.
I mean, like I would
Yeah.
find that should just be standard.
Yeah,
Like I don't feel like
exactly.
It needs that
as
much.
in,
well,
praise.
he
yeah,
is.
but that's the thing.
he's
It's not standard because we live in a walked
Yeah.
up world.
I
so
feel
we
like-
have to
yeah, Lewis.
Look at Lance Stroll.
Lewis. Yeah. Everyone be like Lance. No,
This is
I
a
feel
weird
like
world we live in.
Lewis is the what's it called? the standard.
Oh my
that
god! I thought you
everyone.
were,
the
was
standard.
it the Lion King?
He's no
Circle of
yeah,
life.
circle of
I
life.
love
No.
it when you get your hand emotions out.
Oh, God,
the video I put up
always.
on Instagram the other day, and someone wrote, the
Italian.
Italian hands are out.
I can't do it. He is the standard that everyone should aim for, achieve
Yes.
to be like. Everyone should be like him.
He's very
Well,
yeah,
until he
is-
walks across the track with George driving past him, and then they had it in slow mo, and someone put up on like a meme being like, Netflix is going to absolutely
Yeah.
bolster this
I
video.
wanna
I was
know,
like,
like-
yes, they will. Like, I just want music, and then something like blowing up in the background, and Lewis is just like slowly walking across there, and FIA is giving him a fine. Did he end up getting a fine
I
or
was
anything?
just about to have a look at that.
Ooh.
Yeah, because he's not supposed to walk across the track. He's
Yeah,
supposed to wait
true.
for someone. He was just like, fuck it. It's one of the best bits of footage, I reckon, that came out of that whole race. And probably my favourite was Lewis slow-mo walking across the track with George.
€50,000.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Is that-
Hamilton received his first non-driving reprimand of the season and also was fined, €50,000.
Wow.
Half of which is suspended for the rest of 2023, providing there is no repeat offence.
Oh, okay. So if he's on good behaviour and he has to
Yeah.
pay half of that.
25.
So don't walk across the track, please.
Please don't do that again.
It's quite a hefty fine for
Yeah.
jaywalking.
Yeah. It's a lot more than what we would
Literally.
get.
Well, I mean, speaking of fines, I can see why Checo served his penalty in Japan, not in Qatar. 'cause
Yeah.
He's got that many bloody penalties in
Literally.
Qatar.
Oh my god, yeah.
Thank
That
God.
actually blew my mind because in the race, Gasly had 7 track limits, Perez 6,
Mm.
and Max had none. It's like, imagine that conversation in the garage after.
Literally.
You had 6 track limits, Max had 0.
Well, Christian Horner
This poor
afterwards,
man.
like speaking of Checo, was saying to the cameras, he pretty much gave a warning to Checo via the broadcast interview. He said that even without the sanctions, Checo is completely off pace and that they need to talk to Checo about the race and why he's having such a hard time. And it's not been just a tough weekend. It's been a tough few months now.
Yeah. He's just got his everyone's eyes are on him.
And then he desperately needs to find his form again. And then I can't even remember who asked him. I think it was Nico Rosberg said, is it because the car's different for Checo? And Christian Horner's like, nah, it's all fine. It's like, it's all the same. And then they cut to Checo being interviewed and he goes, this car isn't suited to me. Like the seat has changed. I'm sitting
like,
down
I'm sitting
way too low. Like I've said I don't want to be sitting low. Like, so there's some battles that are between them and there's friction. I think having those penalties and the poor guy, he must be under so much pressure.
So
Everyone's
much pressure.
expecting him
Yeah.
constantly. And then you've got your own fucking team principal saying that, pretty much giving you a warning on, I was going to say KO, but it's actually Sky News. It's just because I watched it on KO. Specifically on KO.
KO sponsor us.
Please.
That's all that we watch on. But yeah, that was hard to watch. Seeing that conversation.
Yeah, I do feel for him.
That's like when your boss speaks about you to someone else, but you're all standing there and can hear it, and it's like, ooh.
And then on international, on a live broadcast internationally.
You plus millions of people are watching.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Perez over the next year.
Gosh, I felt like this weekend there was so many talks about, will you get Lando? Will you want to have Lando in the team? And is it worth having 2 alpha males? And Christian's like, well, they have contracts until, because they were talking about Oscar and Lando, and they have contracts until 2026. He just likes to brush everything away, just brush it away. Just
I
brush
reckon
it
Give a
that's
little
away.
dab.
Yeah.
Like I said last week,
Gets
I
the
still think
broomstick out.
Danny will step into the seat halfway through next year, not last year, and then retire. I think then he'll see it out. I wouldn't
Probably.
be surprised actually if Lewis retired at the end of next year. He only signed
Oh,
one
really?
more year. Ooh,
mean, he
just
seemed-
They
sounded
kind
like
of
a
did
voice
that.
crack.
Interesting role.
Yeah.
But both George and Lewis did that, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see George.
George is still so young.
He could go somewhere else. It gives him options. I feel like Lewis is hitting that.
I think
point.
I think
every week he just seems a little bit more.
Yeah, he keeps saying about how there's so much work to do on the car, and I think if next season his concerns are not addressed and they're not able to kind of figure out to make the car better, then I think I agree that he will retire, and I can see him stepping away from the sport. And
He'll come
I
back
could
in
picture
some
him-
capacity.
Yeah, or I could picture him doing something like
more in the entertainment industry, maybe.
yeah, or even in like the fashion industry or something
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
in like like somehow
He's
in
got
a
a-
community space, like
Yeah.
building up I don't know, something.
More commercial mindset
Yeah.
type stuff. Yeah,
Mm.
100%. I can see that as well.
Yeah.
I think we need to talk
Wait
about the
and
heat,
see.
by the way.
Yeah.
Remember last weekend I said I was
Yeah.
very surprised about why they were doing the race at this time in the year.
We were
in
talking
Qatar.
Yeah,
about
you were
that.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that watching the race, that exact conversation
Yeah.
with you last week. And then they were saying, thank God this race is end of next season. Half the drivers didn't even know that. They're like, is it? Thank God. Like
Yeah.
in all the post-race
Well, like, it
interviews.
being 32 degrees when they started,
Yeah,
and
with
70% humidity.
yeah.
I have so much to say
Like
about
even
this.
their like their little water pockets.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
get hot.
Yeah,
They
were
call
hot.
it tea because
Yeah.
apparently it also
It
then
was
like
so hot.
absorbs like some sort of flavoring from something because it all sits behind them. It's probably sweat. I don't know, but they say it tastes
Ew.
like disgusting tea. Like it's not enjoyable. George said it was about 50 degrees
He did.
in
Yeah.
the cockpit. I mean, no wonder they're all passing out
I'm
whilst
pretty sure
driving,
they said it was 56. I
Yeah.
swear someone said 56 degrees.
which is fucked up.
Yeah.
Like 50 degrees is enough. Like
Yeah,
56
like-
is even
yeah.
worse.
Because what did George say in the post race? He was like, it's when you're in a sauna and you
Yeah.
reach your limit and you want to get out.
yeah,
But
yeah.
they couldn't get out.
And he
Like
said
they just
they
had to keep going.
couldn't
yeah.
get out by. He's like, I wanted to get out at lap 12.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he
like-
was saying like typically he'll train in a sauna and like he gets that feeling of I need
Yeah.
to get out, and he got that at lap 12,
Yeah,
and he said like
And they all just I don't know how they did that.
They still
I'm
had-
honestly, I felt horrified. I literally felt horrified. I think that they are already putting their bodies through so much, and it's so impressive, and they are some of the greatest athletes on earth. And I think that could have been so dangerous, and
Oh, it's
just
scary.
I'm not. I'm
I'm
not
not
happy.
happy.
But I really,
No,
I
but
felt
I-
so angry. I was like, this is not okay.
Imagine
because
if
the
some-
drivers are not going to half the time tell their teams if they are feeling sick. They're going to suck it up and
Yeah.
stick it through.
Well,
Ocon,
Ocon threw up in his helmet.
yeah, and didn't tell them until he finished the
Can
race.
you imagine
By the way,
sitting there and
okay.
it pooling?
And he
Yeah, what
vomited at lap
happens?
15 as
Oh,
well.
What happens when
Imagine
you
the
vomit in your
smell.
helmet? Do you reckon
It
you
would just pull because they would be completely locked. Like it'd all be locked
But then
in.
it would heat up, and then it'd be like even more
Yeah.
heat on your neck.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it would because they have the fire suits and stuff on, so
Yeah.
everything has to be like completely like tight and
Yeah.
airlocked.
Wouldn't you want to
Condensed.
vomit more because of the smell?
Probably.
That's what you think. God, they're
And he
mental
just said he
children.
had to get into like a mental state where he couldn't think about it and just focus on the race.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so bad.
I also want. I'm just like the FIA should have done so much more.
They should
They
have.
Because
should
like
have.
regardless of the sport,
Yeah.
there's always like a regulation around how hot
Yeah.
it can get
Agreed.
for you to compete.
I
like
feel
when
like
I was jumping,
yeah.
it was like I think it was like 45 degrees
yeah.
was the limit, and I was
Yeah.
in tiny little like
Shorts.
crop top and shorts.
Yeah.
I had heat stroke once, passed out,
Yeah.
and I was like, and these guys are in basically like ski gear
Yeah.
in
When-
these cars
yeah.
on a track that's 56 degrees,
And they're in a fireproof layer
Yeah.
and their race suit and like what George said,
Yeah.
56-degree cockpit.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
I think when Logan was the first one to make comments about not feeling well,
Yeah.
and Williams should have pulled him as soon as he said that. And I know that they were like, it's up to you, like, but we think, you know, your health is more priority here.
yeah.
And that was scary then when Logan did decide he was actually going to retire from the race. And he's slowing down the car. Yellow flag comes out because I think he was trying to let people through, but it also looked like maybe he was going to stop on the track because he just couldn't drive
Yeah.
anymore. He was swerving a little bit. Like, thank God he made it back because that could have ended in disaster.
Yeah, like,
because
ima-
he was in those little, chicanes.
But imagine if someone passed out in a high
Yeah.
speed corner.
Yeah.
That could have been fatal.
Lance
Yeah.
Stroll said he felt like he was passing out.
Yeah.
Said he
Well,
couldn't
because
see.
a lot of them said that they were
Yeah.
actually kind of like almost going in and out of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
Which is
And,
fucked
like,
because
what-
imagine the G-force behind you as well.
Yeah. And what George and what you were saying before about George, with a lot of them were trying to get their arms up to get some form of air.
Oh my God, the ones that were lifting up their visor.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
and then when they
And
go
there's sand
to
in your eye. Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
and then Pitt when they were getting that,
What?
what?
they were like throw water on me.
Oh, yeah. Like Fernando saying his bum was hot and wanted them to just like throw water
yeah,
on
he was
it.
like just throw it on me.
like something.
Even just like Piastri, like his little face when he was just on the floor. He was on the floor. You know how they're sitting in the waiting room before they go and do the
Max's
podium.
podcast.
Yeah, Max's podcast. He was just lying down on the floor, and he was like, all of them said like toughest race in their career, and I just think
Max
Max
walked
said
in.
it was top 5 toughest
Oh,
race.
Oh, did he say that?
He said
I
top
didn't
5.
see that. I just heard him walking and being like, "Does anyone have a wheelchair?"
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
I was concerned about Oscar. I was like, hey, I don't even know if he's going to be able to make it on the podium.
Yeah.
Well, Lando couldn't even do a champagne spike because the champagne bottles were so hot they couldn't get the bubbles.
There
No,
wa-
but
it
also
wasn't
because it wasn't champagne.
It's not champagne.
Oh,
There's
what?
no alcohol.
Qatar, it doesn't have alcohol. There's
Yeah.
no champagne.
There was alcohol on the course
but,
don't
but
know.
in certain
the-
sections, but yeah, there'd be no champagne.
no
in the
champagne.
bottles.
Yeah.
I
Oh
know.
my god! I
yeah.
thought it was because it was so hot. There were no,
No.
bubbles.
No.
That's hilarious. I was like, "There's no, bubbles."
I was like, when Lando tried to do the champagne spike,
Yeah.
and it just went. Blink. I was like, I'm pretty sure everyone's like, we stream stronger than that.
Yeah. Also, like Piastri was like, but it just like had
They were
no.
all like this, and I was like dribbling out. I was like,
Dribbling.
oh my
At least
god.
the trophies look better for Oscar's second podium.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Also, sorry, just
Amazing.
about the no alcohol as well. Valtteri was talking to his mechanic, and his mechanic, they're like such a hard race, and he's like,
need a
yes,
beer."
now you can nice earned beer. And Valtteri's like, I can't. There's no beer in hospitality. He's like, yep, you're right. Wrong country.
I won't
That
put
was
this, and I
right.
was like, maybe that's why not many people go.
Maybe.
Well, that's what I was saying before. It's such a big cultural difference, and people are going for a fanfare and the hospitality, and there's all these different reasons that people go. If they don't have all of that,
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Yeah.
you got to be I think. Not even dedicated fan. I think it's a commitment and it's an expense.
Very
and
hot
I think if
track
you're
as well,
traveling
yeah.
for something, unless you've got the money, I think you want to enjoy all aspects. Even if
Yeah.
you don't drink, I think you want to have fanfare, you want to see entertainment, you want to
Yeah.
have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
not cheap to travel.
No.
It's bloody
Yeah.
expensive.
Yes.
I mean, we would love to be overseas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Although that's being said, if I could go to Qatar, I wouldn't heartbeat.
I know it's
I
funny.
would,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. It's funny because how I felt about the course over the weekend, and just like, I don't know how I feel about Qatar, and then it just cemented it for me after everything that happened with the drivers. But if they want to invite us to Qatar and prove us wrong, please prove us wrong.
We'll still go
We'll
still
still
go.
go. If you would
100%.
like to prove us wrong, please let us know because we
on your own
will-
expense.
Yeah,
No.
we will happily go there
We'll
next
change
year.
our opinion.
Oh yes, and
If you could
only if it's
change-
cooler.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you don't
well,
need
being
drivers
end of-
passing out again.
Yes,
End of the season.
You don't need
So
that.
I
I'm
think
still
it's-
just shocked by that.
I know.
Mm.
I genuinely feel upset about it and like just very cross about it. Yes, literally.
But like, I just don't understand. How is it not like a duty of care?
Yeah, yeah,
Like-
exactly.
It just blows my mind. We should go have a stern talking to them.
Yes.
Excuse me.
I think before we finish, drivers of the day.
George Russell.
George.
Georgie
have
Porgy.
No, I didn't pick George.
Oh,
I
I
was
was gonna
just
say, no,
saying
I picked
cute
George.
Did you pick George?
I
You
picked
picked
George.
George?
Oh, I
Yeah.
picked George.
I picked George.
Oh.
No, I picked George.
What?
I'm trying to satisfy with it, and she's not getting it.
No, I'm not.
I picked George. You know,
I'm not.
I
Georgie Porgy.
I picked George as well. Yeah, I reckon he had a rough time. He had so many knocks. He clipped so many different cars.
I know.
And
And
there-
come in
that-
fourth.
That many times that I thought that he was gonna be gone,
DNF.
Goodbye.
and he just kept
Or
coming back.
I would say Joe Guan Yu did quite well.
Oh,
He gained 10 spots.
good
Yeah.
on him.
I was like, solid effort by
Nice.
Joe Guan Yu.
I had Oscar, but on non-official, I picked Lando because he
Lando.
climbed from 10th to 3rd. So
I feel
Yeah.
like there was a lot of good climbing.
Yeah.
yeah, lots of good
Good
I think
climbing.
they
climbing.
had plenty of opportunities with those safety cars, and
Mm.
that's what made it interesting. All the climbing, they couldn't have done that without that tire strategy.
That's true.
Really?
Yeah,
Actually, no,
feel like
I
they
disagree.
could.
But yeah,
Yeah, I still think they could.
one day
They
someone
still
is going to
could.
agree with me.
Yeah.
That's how it'll go.
Maybe a fan will agree with you.
So no race next week, guys.
I thought there was. I was like, yes, we're in Austin next week. And you guys were like, no.
No.
we're
As
not.
much as I'm sad,
Like, I have my Austin notes.
oh, she's already gone. She's ready to talk about Austin. No, we'll
Yeah.
be talking about Austin next week. We'll save everyone's ears.
I'm sad.
But as I am grateful to not have an early Monday morning
Me too.
because I am wrecked after that 3:30 start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't know how I got up because I don't get up at the best of times.
Proud of
No,
you.
I like I said to Amy when I saw her message come through, I thought it
I
must have been a delayed
I
response, and I was
literally-
like, "Nah, this isn't Amy messaging me at 3:30 in the morning." Like, what?
Because I literally messaged you. I was like, I can't decide if I should go back to sleep or not.
Yeah, exactly. She asked if she should stay up and go back to sleep. I'm like, well, you're fucking up. Like, of course.
I was like, eyes half open, like still got like
you
dribble
did
down
fall
my
asleep
face.
though. Like when you stopped replying to me, I was like, she's fallen asleep.
Yeah, I did.
And then I'd get a message
Or-
like 5 minutes later, I fell asleep. What happened?
I was just so zoned out. I was like asleep with my eyes open.
Yeah.
Oh, it was horrible.
I think that's all.
I
we've
think
got
that's it
time
for us. All done.
Well, if you've enjoyed this episode, make sure you give it a little review.
5 stars.
We're
5
doing like a
stars.
5-star. Helps us.
5
out.
stars.
Helps us out. It's going. And if
I
you
like little 5 star.
want to communicate with us,
And hopefully as well next week we'll have a little surprise for everyone.
oh yeah.
Surprise.
If you, it's I.
Little Jack in the
I
Box.
started speaking, and then I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say, if you want to communicate with us, you can speak to us on Instagram.
Yes.
You have the pleasure
Give
of
us a call.
me replying.
1-800-Paddock 43.
That's not the number.
It's reverse
Yes.
dial. You have to pay for it if you're international.
Yeah. We're not paying for that.
No, but yes, we might have potentially a little surprise for our listeners next week.
Yes.
Love that.
Very exciting.
All right. We'll
Well-
chat to you later.
See you next week.
Thank
See
you.
Talk
Bye.
to you next week.
Bye.
Okay, Max. This is unbelievable. You prefer this one? Not too bad. Not too bad. We heard this one's your favorite. That's good. Very happy with that. Thank you, guys.